I'm back in my studio, and today I am going to be handling prompt 8 from Junk Journal January that is being hosted by Meg Journals. I will link the details in the description. And this prompt is neutral. So one of the things that Meg shared was this printable ephemera that was created in collaboration with Get Messy Art. So I'm going to use this because I would say this is neutral. And there we go. And I don't know if you saw what I just did, but let me just show you. If you tear towards you, the white edge shows on the page. If you tear away from you, the white edge goes on the back side of the page. That was past the line. See? So I have just that. It's a quick tip. All right, so I have a single page here, and what I have is this neutral page. I've got a book page. I have this piece that was left over from something else that I did. And then I have this, and so I kind of colored this one so that you could see, but this is a whole sheet. And I can't remember. Justice of the Peace from somewhere in Tennessee. So I bought this at an antique store, and I love it. I stamp things on it all the time because it embosses things, and it just gives you some texture on the page. So I'm going to tear off that brown. And another tip is, if you don't want it to tear into something, put your thumb there and tear along your thumb, because that will keep it from getting away from you, because your thumb stops it. So, all right. And then the last thing that I have is I split a napkin apart because I wanted an image on a napkin, which I actually showed in my first video for day 1. But these were the other 2 pieces inside of the napkin. So when you pull it, it usually has 3 layers. And, you know, once you start seeing creative possibilities and things, you start saving everything, and it's a blessing and a curse. And I always throw this away, but what I decided was that I was going to stamp on it. So I took out my black StazOn ink because it's waterproof and permanent, and I stamped. This one's all text, and this one was flowers and birds and peas, a little bit of everything. Okay. And the great thing about napkins, if you haven't used them, is when you put them down, whatever is beneath them, once you get it wet, like here, all of the text will show through. So I'll put a piece of this down in addition to these other things, and we'll take a look at it. So I'm gonna grab my brush, and I'm going to get my matte medium out. And I'm kind of covering the whole page. And, you know, I'm just going to go for it because this is not going to be hanging in a museum. As I've said, I treat this like, you know, a warm-up, an opportunity to express my creativity. I appreciate the inspiration of the prompts, and we're talking about neutral. And so if everything is neutral, it's all going to go together. So I don't have to worry. Worst case scenario, if you don't like it, paint over it, put another piece of paper over it. If you're really mad at it, just tear the page out. You are in control of your journal. It's fantastic. All right, so we got that. I like that white edge, so doing that. I think I want to wait on that. I'm going to put another piece of book page across here. And as you can see, I'm putting the matte medium over and under. Put that piece here. This is just cover the page. I'm gonna push that into the crease a little bit. And create a neutral backdrop. I have this little piece here, but before I do that, let's see. Let's go here. I didn't cover all of that. It's okay. Because the brown paper I used underneath is neutral too. And if you wanted some more of that, you could, you know, bring it back to the front. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear a piece of this napkin that I stamped on. I'm going to put down a thin layer of the matte medium. I'm going to put down the napkin. And see how you can see the color and the other text and the picture. You can see all of that behind it. Okay. And I like that. I'm going to do it again. One thing about the napkin, I mean, I know I kind of brushed it like crazy, but I am not putting quite as much pressure because what happens with the napkin is it will tear easily. But I do like this silicone spreader because see how I put that down? I went over it lightly and I have that coverage. Okay, and because this is neutral, I didn't do this on camera. I cut out a bunny. And I'm going to put the bunny right here. This was from a scrap from another project. And when I was trying to decide what else does the bunny need, I decided that the bunny needed a place to stand. So I'm gonna put that there. Just cut like a little wiggly piece with a flat bottom, and then because I couldn't let any scraps go to waste. I'm gonna slather some stuff here. I cut these little leaf shapes. And I'm trying not to put my hands all over this because I tend to work really wet and then I like rip things off. But over that tissue, you know, you gotta just be a little careful. So there's that tissue. And here is my embossed little thing here. I'm just gonna put it right up here. Like, since this whole page is about neutral, this is my moon in the sky. Anybody read the story of Nut Brown Hair? You know, I love you to the moon and back. There we go. This is our nut brown hair. That's a neutral, even though he's not exactly nut brown here. And there's some, you can see the words here. I'm going to do a little, this is wet. My moon is maybe made of milk chocolate because I didn't put gray in it. I put brown, but there we go. So we got some nut brown hair. And when I was looking at the book page, trying to decide which part to tear next, I saw a word, and that word was flower. And I cut a little heart out for my little guy. Interesting enough, the word below it was thimble, and my stitch page is right next to this. So I thought that that was kind of funny too. So I had to share that with you. So now, Nut Brown Hair's ears are bending. What I want to do is I just want to come in with my Stabilo, and I want to go around this whole thing. The whole thing. I'm gonna go here too. Okay. And you know, the advantage to it all still being wet is that we can come in and we can rub a little. And then when it dries, it'll look like we did some shading, some very fancy shading. So there we go. And then the final thing that we will do is tear this. Maybe I'll put it down there. Sorry, a moment of indecision, you know. There we go. Neutral. Last moment with the Stabilo. That's soggy, matte medium. And that's it. So there we go. Day 8, neutral.